So for my project today, I'm going to be inspired by the Sydney Opera House, which looks kind of like this. And you get a choice when you do this project of vertical or horizontal. And you also get a choice of if you want to draw close up or zoomed out. And so for mine, I could choose if I want to draw it zoomed out like this and show all of the details, or if I wanted to, I could zoom in and just show a little bit of it. If I was just going to show it using the entire picture, I would probably start by adding some of those lines that I'm seeing. So I started with the curve and the straight line there. Then I see another one coming out here, coming down, and then it kind of stops because it bumps into this other line that's kind of coming across both of those. I see that one comes down into almost a triangle shape. And there's another one right here. When I get to Sharpie, I'm going to decide what kind of lines I want to turn these lines into. So I could turn them into happy or energetic or relaxing. And for me, I think Australia sounds like a pretty cool place to visit. So I'm gonna turn mine into happy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna, instead of just tracing my lines, I'm gonna turn them into kind of more lines that have that happy sort of design that we were looking at earlier. So we're expressing that emotion. I'm not worrying about making it perfect, I'm just trying my best. Because I'm overlapping my lines, I'm kind of also getting that energetic feeling too. So kind of coming together there. Now, this looks pretty good for if I was going to draw the entire thing. Let's also talk about zooming in. If I were going to zoom in on this picture, I would probably find an area that I thought was really interesting. For me, I think that this part where it's repeating the same kind of shape is pretty interesting. So I'm gonna zoom in and draw just that. This would be what we call an abstract representation of the opera house. I've zoomed in on just a part of it and I'm just being inspired by the lines and shapes that I see. Again, I can use my line emotion to do this. For this one, I'm going to make it really energetic. So I'm going to go back over my lines, coming back down. I'm not worrying about making it perfect, just kind of adding in some energetic lines. You can also see I'm working fast. And we oftentimes, when we're using energy, see these little marks that are called tails on our lines that kind of come back up and around. Sometimes this kind of drawing is also called gestural because it sort of shows the gestures that your hand is making. For your project, you only need to do one or the other, showing the entire piece or zooming in. Once we have done that, we will need to choose. Once we have done that, we are going to split our project into 4 sections. To do this, we're going to fold our paper. If this is the side I want to use, I will fold it this way. I'm going to line up my corners, making sure that they're straight, and then flatten it out, creasing the fold. Then we're going to fold it in half one more time. Now when I open it up, I should have 4 pretty equal sections. Our next step is to cut our project apart into its 4 sections. Cut right along the fold lines. Now I have 4 sections that are each going to be painted a different color. Each section will be monochromatic. The word monochromatic means one color. We will paint it with one color of watercolor, for example, maybe red, and then we are going to add tempera paint that is that same color, only lighter and darker. Lighter and darker versions of colors are called tints and shades. Let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is go over the section with just that one color. I got my brush wet the red of my watercolor set, and I'm just going to do a really nice layer of red watercolor here. I'm using a big brush, filling my space, and just making sure it's pretty even. Now I can wash my brush and do the next section. You need to choose 4 colors, but the colors you choose are up to you. Once your panels have finished drying, we are going to add the last details to make them monochromatic. For this step, you are going to get a cup with the color of yours, along with white and black. These will be set up at tables around the room. What we are going to do next is add light and dark variations of our colors. To do this, we're first going to start with the regular version and add some lines or dots to accentuate different parts of our project. Next, we're going to mix a little bit of our color with a little bit of the white or a little bit of the black. To do this, we will use a spare sheet of paper. The first thing you will always do is put down some of the white. Once you've done that, wash your brush and add a little bit of your color. Add a little at a time so that you can keep making the color lighter. When we add a little bit at a time, our color will slowly get darker. Remember that we also want to have dark versions, so we don't want to do too much with the light. I washed my brush and added a little bit more white to my red so I get an even lighter version. Now that I've added to this panel, it's time to move on and do the rest of my panels. I will finish orange, green, and blue, and then I will mount my projects to a black piece of paper. When you mix your color with black, start by putting the color down on your paper. Wash off your brush and then add the black slowly to your color. This way, your color will get darker little by little. When orange is mixed with black, it will turn out kind of brown. That is supposed to happen. I really like that dark version, so I'm going to make one more dark orange. I wash my brush again, and then I will add a little more black paint to it. This time the paint turned out kind of a chocolatey color.